Okay.
Yeah, Josh in the bathroom.
Okay, we're all here.
No, she's here,
John.
I just wait.
I thought you were doing a flying trip here and back.
I told Brian that I was gonna try to amend the agenda to where his stuff was at the end.
So it's. I did have a guy loading his truck yesterday. A while, so. West, next.
Next.
We're ready. Everybody ready?
Yep.
Yeah.
Let me call to order the meeting of the Highlands Town Board of Commissioners for September the 18th, 2025. Our first item on the agenda will be a moment of silence followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. So would you join me in a moment of silence? Thank you, Ned. We'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic in which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Our next item on the agenda is the statement of conflict of interest. I just remind the board members, if you have any conflict of interest in any business before the board tonight, please state it. Item number 4 will be public comment period. So at this point, if anyone would like to come forward and make a public comment, if you'll come forward, state your name so we can put it in the record, and open the floor now to anyone who would like to make a public comment. Mr. Worrell.
Thank you, Mayor and Commissioners and town officials. My name is James Worrell. I reside on Little Bear Pen. And though I am engaged with a number of organizations around town, tonight I'm just here to make a few personal comments. Being a town commissioner is a mostly thankless job. Commissioner Brian Steeler has done a wonderful community service for more than a decade. Having moved outside the town limits, he can no longer serve, and the remainder of his term will be filled by a person to be elected in the November special election. The candidate who is successful in winning that position will have big shoes to fill. Commissioner Steeler was an advocate for the people of Highlands, and any candidate for the position should aspire to do the same. To do anything otherwise would be a disservice to the legacy Commissioner Steeler has made. Brian had a great sense of balance, ability to see the big picture without ever losing focus on the goal, doing what is best for the town and the town's residents. So to the candidate who will ultimately serve out Brian's term, and in fact to all of our elected officials, as we face issues and challenges going forward, I suggest a good checkpoint would be to ask, what would Brian do? Thank you, Mayor, Commissioners, and town officials for letting me make these comments, and thank you for everything you do.
Thank you so much. Would anyone else like to make a public comment?
Alex Nelson. I have a couple of public comments.
Would you pull the microphone close?
I have a couple of public comments. On the use of the Playmore property, excuse me, on the use of the Playhouse property. Apparently, according to what I read in your column, the original deeds say that it says something about a park. I'm for parks everywhere. I don't care where they are. I love parks. But I have to admit that a park in that location seems to me, you can't? Good Lord.
Oh, Alice, can I interject? It was the original Chelsea map.
Excuse me?
It was the
The
original.
original map.
Yes.
Okay, right. And it mentioned parks. Okay. And like I say, I love parks. Parks should be everywhere. I think in that particular location, park would be kind of strange. I can't really see it as a destination. However, I mean, I love parks everywhere. It also said apparently that it cannot be used, that space cannot be used for commercial and private purposes. The only thing I want to say, I wish I had something really constructive, a constructive suggestion for what to put there. I do not. But I know that sometimes the way you reach a decision, a positive decision, is by eliminating what you don't want. And that it's across the board, what you don't want for dinner, blah, blah, blah. I'm glad that it says not for commercial, because what I would hate to see at that place is a parking lot. And I know that this town is obsessed with parking as it needs to be, but I would hate to see a parking lot there. And the worst thing I would hate to see is the often touted multi-story car garage. I mean, to me, that's just a monstrosity, a blight on the landscape. So I can't offer anything, you know, opposite to that, but I'm just going to say, please don't put a parking lot there. You know, it'd be really disgusting. I also want to say something about Brian Steeler, and say thank you to him for all of the years he's been here and just all of the stuff he's done for the town. But the main thing I appreciate about Brian Steeler is his voice. I mean, he could have a career as a public speaker. I mean, his voice is wonderful. Half the time, I can't hear you all. You all are making me put my mouth right on this horrible germ-ridden thing here, which I'm sure it is. But you all don't. You all sit way back here like this, and I'm always saying, I can't hear you, I can't hear you. So I wish you all would speak up louder. Brian, thank you for your wonderful voice that carries beautifully. And I just wanted to say that. I could say a lot of other things, as you all know. I will say one thing that's got nothing to do with anything, but when I told my darling husband, Kent, who most of you all know, that I was going to make a public comment, he went, oh, is it about me? And I said, no, but it ought to be. So there it is.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And you all could speak louder, please.
All right. Do we have any more public comment?
Good evening. Bob Salerno from Choctaw Road. I believe you recall from the last time I was here, and we were
Right.
talking about the Playhouse. I also wrote letters to the editor, which were published. Unfortunately, it is one of those situations where there isn't enough time to put together a fundraising group to come up with those kind of dollars. However, I did get feedback from some people, and I see some positive steps that perhaps we can do to preserve a little bit of it. For an example, take the Playhouse sign, the facade, move it over to the PAC, take all the bricks that are there from the donors, of which I am one of those, move those over. So I see some way of maybe honoring the memory of the PAC. So I'm hoping that maybe that's something you guys can also promote and try to get them to commit to that.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Bob, let me say, we're in discussions with the PAC and the Playhouse folks about the salvaging of the bricks and possible parts of the Playhouse.
Great.
So, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Hearing none, let's now move on to the next item, and that is the review and approve the agenda. Do we have any changes, additions to the agenda?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor, please raise your hand, signify by saying aye. Thank you.
Aye.
Okay, the next item is the approval of the August 21st regular meeting minutes. Do we have any changes, clarifications, or corrections?
I move they be approved.
All right,
Second.
okay. All right, all in favor, please raise your hand, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Very good. Now, we have a whole list of closed session minutes. Let me call them out. The approval of the September 19th, 2024 closed session, the October 17th, 2024, the January 16th, 2025, the February 13th, 2025, the March 20th, 2025, the April 17th, 2025, the May 15th, 2025, and then the August 21st, 2025 closed session minutes. Do we have any corrections, changes to those minutes?
If there's any to be corrected, you need to pull them out.
Pull them out.
The motion,
Right,
and then they will be approved in closed session.
okay.
I thought I noticed something on the August.
Speak up.
It,
Speak into the,
Well, speak up. Speak up. Thank you.
in Brian Stevens' name on August
minutes?
I believe it is.
Okay,
That's all.
that's technical.
That's
Okay.
it.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please raise your hand, signify by saying aye. Thank you.
Yeah, who made the motion in second,
I
sorry?
missed the motion.
Yeah, who didn't make? Buzz, you make the motion?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And who seconded?
And I'll
Second, okay. All in favor? Okay, thank you. All right. The next item will be the report, starting with the mayor's the mayor's report. I attended in Asheville, the North Carolina Association of Mayors this past week. It was very enlightening to hear what other mayors are dealing with in North Carolina. Of course, so many of the mayors in Western Carolina were still dealing with the hurricane issue, Hurricane Helene. Then we had a lot of talk about water and sewer projects that almost everybody's engaged in. Excuse me. Then we had a lot of mayors talking about it's just tremendous growth in their communities, especially around places like Charlotte, Raleigh, Asheville, Wilmington. A lot of small communities like we are growing at an unbelievable rate. And with that growth, they are faced with tremendous challenges, water and sewer, roads. They're building houses at an astounding rate. But, with growth, and we've talked about this. For example, in Rowan County, there's a number of municipalities. They had 3,000 people or less for years. But about 10 years ago, growth occurs. Some of them now are up to like 10 or 15,000 people. And to go to that population in that short period of time is just challenging. And it isn't stopping. So a lot of places in North Carolina, which is about the fourth or fifth fastest growing state in the United States, they're having to contend with a lot of infrastructure challenges like we're working on, but we don't have that unbelievable growth pressure. The other thing that I noticed, there are so many communities who are building playgrounds like we are. And I put in a plug that we're building a playground, and to kind of solidify a decision we made, every one of these playgrounds, they are all inclusive playgrounds. So I was real proud that we're doing a major playground, and we'll talk about that with Brian Steeler just in a minute, and that it is an inclusive playground. But what was so interesting, and this kind of contrasts Highlands, several mayors would get up and say, we're getting a Target or a Walmart. And I was sitting there saying, our little 6.5 square mile community, that's just something that we don't really see even on the horizon of, those kind of large structures coming into the town. But a lot of these mayors in the towns, they're just facing growth and things like big business expansion, and all of that goes with the need for them to provide services and infrastructure. Then finally, I'll be having my community coffee at the library tomorrow at 11 o'clock. So now I'll turn it over to any commissioners for their updates.
I don't have anything.
Hearing none, I'll turn it over to our town manager, Josh Ward.
Well, this week we had a very good meeting with the committee to look at the Boys and Girls Club building at the rec park. Carmen Wade had put together a draft of a memorandum of an understanding between the town and the Boys and Girls Club that we need to get approved soon so that we can send to the Partef folks and have them to review it. That was put together and that's been sent to the town attorney. So he'll be putting that in to a legal form to get to the town board, hopefully have a joint meeting maybe to go over that with the Boys and Girls Club board as well as the town board to see if we can approve that and get it sent to the Partet folks. Also, some projects that we have going on. Stillwell Enterprises did enter into the site down on Dog Mountain to start construction. It'll probably be a week or so before they actually start digging. They mobilized to the location. They have talked with the folks down at Dog Mountain and instructed them on the schedule and you know, how long it's going to take, hours of operation and things like that. So I've been very pleased with that. Also Parker Paving was supposed to be in town on Monday to start paving the town streets that we have in our budget for this year. They've been delayed. I think they were supposed to be here today. I don't know if they were able to show up, Lamar. They did show up today, which is good. They'll be starting with Maney Road. So we did cut that road back a little bit to allow them to be able to get in there to pave that. And also a little bit of disappointing news. Friday, Lamar Nix, our public works director, come into my office and said that he would be retiring at the end of this year. So he's sitting back there if you want to congratulate him or
Twist his arm.
or I'll leave it at that. No, it's been a privilege to work with Lamar and I wish him the best, and we will quickly begin looking for his replacement. So that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. I echo your concerns that we're losing an outstanding employee, Lamar Nix. So we'll go from there. All right. The next item is the consent agenda. Do I have any questions about the consent agenda that was sent to you in the packet?
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay. All in favor, please raise your hand, signify by saying aye. Thank you. Okay. Our next item is the recognition of the service of Brian Steeler. And I'd like Brian to come forward for this ceremony.
I thought he was getting a cookie.
On behalf of the L Board, let us get you your name tag. And then also, we want to give you the plaque recognizing your 14 years of service to the town. And so it was a surprise that you made that move. Required that you leave the board, but we really appreciate it. Okay. Brian said his work and service to this community would not stop, and he's exactly right. He has an update on the playground tonight. And also, again, I want to recognize his work with the Highlands Scholarship Golf Tournament, which was held this past week. 33 teams, some $70,000 in funding that goes to the scholarship fund. He's worked with the Bryson family in getting them to support that tournament to where everything that is raised goes to the scholarship. I want to express our appreciation to all the country clubs that have supported this program over the years, and this year especially the Colisagia Club. They did a wonderful job in hosting the tournament. So Brian, we just appreciate everything you've done, and we look forward now to hearing your update about the playground.
Okay, so, and this is going to be harder than I thought, so.
Yeah, go ahead and I know you want to
All
make
right,
a
so I'm going to go through everything I have to cover.
Take your
here.
time.
All right, the first thing is I wanted to talk about the golf tournament. So before I get into details, I just wanted to recognize Jim and Mike Bryson. So two years ago, they came to me and committed to this event more than the event and the scholarship program more than any I could imagine anyone happening. So they're not only major sponsors, but they agreed to cover all of the expenses for the event. So in 2009, then Commissioner Dennis DeWolf asked me to chair this golf tournament with him, and I agreed. And the following year, Rebecca Schuler stepped up in a big way and helped me organize this event as my co-chair. We did many great years, netting anywhere from $15,000 to $25,000 annually. This year, we had a record of 32 foursomes. So if you do the math, there's only 18 holes on a golf course. So you can imagine how many people we had. And it was great. Coliseum Club did a wonderful job. We're just grateful for their membership and their staff team under the leadership of Chris Connor. The hospitality was second to none. And on Monday, we raised $72,000 for the scholarship fund. That is a net $72,000. So although I'm not going to be serving as a commissioner, I am planning to continue to serve in that role as chairman for that event well into the future. And we already set the date for the 2026 event, which is September 21st at Coliseum Club. So next to the playground. And I know this was an agenda item, but I'm just going to cover it all right now. So we've raised today 1.560931.23. So $1,560,931.23. The 23 cents came from credit card fees, by the way. So that's where that came from. So anyway, that's all been collected and in the bank. I've applied for a grant through the hospital foundation, and we're confident that we're going to be awarded additional funds to that. So I'd love to start this project ASAP in order to have a summer of 2026 grand opening. So Commissioner Weller and Lester are well aware of what's involved in the site prep, and I'll be continuing to help with that as much as I can. But I would just ask the board and staff to begin the process of bidding on this project according to the requirements of municipalities that must follow by law. So I'm excited about what's to come, and this is going to be a wonderful addition for the children of Highlands. So that's the playground. And then finally, I have some additional comments I want to make. All right. Serving on this board for the last 14 years has been one of the greatest honors of my life. I'm grateful for the support I received from the residents of Highlands over the last 4 years and the last four elections, I should say, that allowed me to grow in the role of a commissioner. I'm most grateful for my wife, Hillary, and my daughter, Anna, who supported the many meetings that came with the position. I'm also grateful for Highlands Country Club, who has always supported me on my service on the town board. On the last 14 years, we've faced challenges and opportunities, some easier than others. What I learned more than others was that regardless of the level of government, every decision we make has more unintended consequences. We live in a world where people use social media as a platform to state their opinions on issues as if every issue was brought before us was black or white and with a simple solution. On top of that, rarely do people have all the facts associated with any one issue. Last month, it was said that we live in a time where public service isn't appreciated like maybe it once was. I agree wholeheartedly with that statement. It's unfortunate because whether you agree with the decisions or not made in this room, I know that this board has the community's interest and best at heart. Working with the 5 of you, Eric included, benefited me more than you know. I've always found it fascinating to hear how others view opportunities and solve problems like we did for 14 years. I'm so much better for it. Not only in my career, but at home as a husband and father, a son, and life in general. I thought this was going to be a lot easier. I had this all written out like I was going to read it like a champ with my. So anyway, Commissioner Dotson, and I'm going to read this, and I'm sorry I'm not looking directly at you, but because it's just hard. You know, I've always enjoyed our time spent together. And one of my best memories was walking endlessly through those fields in Morganton with you, looking for the next Highlands Christmas tree that would be planted in Kelsey Hutchinson Park. When I watched the movie Christmas Vacation, when they dig that tree bare root, I can't help think of the time when we were in that field. So not only that, but in 2011, you and I were charged with picking out the new holiday decorations for the light poles on Main Street. And I think that might have been the most nerve-wracking position I've ever been put in my entire life. And I will say too, that was 2011. And thanks to the newly mainstream Facebook app at the time, we knew real quick whether we made the right decision or not. and whether that was acceptable. And looking back, I think we did well on both accounts. Commissioner Patterson, there's so much I could say, but I can't think of anyone more intelligent, articulate, and fights for what they feel is right and what they believe is right, even if it isn't popular. I've always said that even if I didn't agree with you on a particular issue, I can never question your thought process. Your decisions are always thoughtful and convincing in what you feel is best for Highlands. To me, you're the epitome of public service. And I hope you continue to serve on this board well into the future. Highlands is a better place because of you. So Eric isn't here, so maybe I'll skip over him. Commissioner Weller, we've only been served on this board for a short time and for about 8 months, but you've always been kind of like an older brother to me. Older, not young, older.
Quite a bit.
And maybe it has something to do with the fact that we grew up minutes from each other in Pennsylvania, that we both like tasty cakes, butterscotch crimpets, which nobody in this room knows what they are, and icy tea, which nobody has the pleasure of knowing unless you're from Pennsylvania. But we both ended up in Highlands. I appreciate your friendship and the advice and direction you provided with me for over the last 25 years. You're a great addition to this board, and I know you'll serve Highlands well. Mayor Taylor, you've set the bar for anyone who serves as mayor of Highlands for the future. Your passion and commitment to Highlands is incredible. You've made serving as a commissioner enjoyable and rewarding. It's evident to everyone the sacrifices that you and Sally have made for the betterment of Highlands. At times, I know it must feel like a thankless job, but I hope you realize how good you are at what you do, how revered and respected you are. I'm grateful for you and the mark you've left on Highlands. And the good news is you're not finished yet. And Josh Ward and town staff, I want to say that you guys are the people who get things done. You have tough jobs balancing the everyday needs of the town while adapting to the ever-changing world around us. You handle it all well, and we're fortunate to have a staff with all your talents. When Hillary and I moved to Highlands in 2000, we thought it would only be a 2 to 3 year stop because of my career. But life always has a way of working itself out. And here I am 25 years later. I'm proud to live in Highlands. I'll always consider Highlands home. And let me just end by thanking you all and saying that I know Highlands is in great hands with all of you. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I would like to add to the playground item is that I've consulted with our town attorney on the process of a design build.
Okay.
And we feel like that that's the best way to approach moving forward with the new playground. And so he's provided me with a draft that I've modified for the RFQ. And I would like to move forward with seeking bids for that.
Okay, so
It's
you'd like a
actually
motion,
bids, but it's actually requests for qualifications.
you'd like for the board to make a motion to move forward with the design build?
I'll make that motion.
Okay. Hearing no further discussion, all in favor, please raise your hand, signify by saying aye. Thank you. All right, we look forward to that new playground and appreciate everything that Brian Steeler's done and what it will do for the future of this community serving our young children. So this is a wonderful, wonderful item on the agenda tonight. It's hard to follow. Okay, the next item will be the First Presbyterian Church parking barrier request. I know we have Associate Pastor Kelly Connolly here. Kelly, welcome. And if you'd like to just kind of outline what you'd like to see done with that problem with the narrow sidewalk.
Good evening. I want to be sure that I'm heard.
Okay. Ministers always. want
Yes,
to-
absolutely. We are really blessed at First Presbyterian Church to have a location that we do. If you're familiar, we are on the corner of Fifth and Main, but we do also share Church Street with Old Edwards Inn. We have unfortunately experienced two incidences within less than a year of each other where people are pulling into a parking spot on Church Street. The only thing between their parking spot and our building is about 2.5 to 3 feet of sidewalk. Therefore, we've had two incidences where someone has driven their vehicle into the church and left us with a damaged building. We are working together with Old Edwards Inn and the other people that are responsible for the accidents on repairing this with our insurance, with our property committees. But we really want to be sure that we avoid a third incident, which is why I'm here. You'll see the requests written, I think it's page 85.
Mhm.
I think we can do something very simple, bollards similar to the ones in Hutchison Park, not something flat that people could drive over, not something the same height as the sidewalk, because again, the issue is you put enough force in the vehicle, it drives over the sidewalk and it hits a 140-year-old building. The most recent accident was within inches of a $1 million organ. So we were very lucky that that did not happen, but this is serious. And so we're here to see how we can prevent further accidents happening. I'm here telling you that luckily there were no injuries involved with either incident. So for that, we are most grateful. But again, to make sure this doesn't happen again, I think it's time to put something permanent in place.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I might add, Josh will confirm this, that our town manager and town engineer has come up with and said this is the best plan to address this problem.
Mhm.
And I think Lamar, do you want to comment?
Well, give him the microphone. There you go.
I looked at a couple of different ways. Probably the cheapest way to do it is with the curb stops that we put in a number of places in each parking area. They're yellow. They're made of a resin PVC or plastic. And then in addition to that, and I've looked at the damage. It's pretty.
Everyone can go look at it. Yes.
Oh, yeah, it's very visible.
Yes.
Maybe something a little more substantial, because what's going on, people are coming into these parking areas and they're downhill. And for whatever reason, they're running right over the sidewalk and into the building. I'd recommend, in addition to the curb stops, some steel pipe filled with concrete bollards. similar to what we have at the rec park and a number of other places. Those, I've priced them around. You can get them installed for approximately $650 a piece. In this particular location, I'd recommend somewhere in the neighborhood of 22 of them to line this up to where a car just can't fit down through there, in addition to the curb stops. So the cost of this would be approximately $16,000.
Okay.
I would request something with, enough weight and height that could prevent a vehicle from driving over it. That could be a real preventative piece.
Right.
I think that's the real key to solving this problem in the future.
Well, I would add to, first, people safety, pedestrian safety.
Correct.
Thank God we didn't have
What if
somebody
someone
using that
was
sidewalk
walking
where somebody
from,
jumped. Yeah.
from, OEI to their car after dinner or what, we are incredibly lucky
Yeah.
that no one was injured, no drivers, no pedestrians, but it will happen again if we don't do this, unfortunately.
So, Lamar, is the bollards, are they in the paved parking lot?
They would be, the sidewalk is right against the building. So they would be placed in the asphalt area between the parking area and the sidewalk, behind the curb stop.
That's what I just want to say is that I think we could narrow that travel lane since it's just one lane road, right?
We could, and what I want to do is put the bollards in close to the sidewalk,
And then
but I want to pull the curb stops
curb
back
stops
so that
back.
nobody's hitting those with their bumpers.
Right, because the problem is the bollards need to be fairly close to the sidewalk because people don't want to get too close to the bollards because
Correct.
they'll damage their car.
Correct.
They don't care about buildings, but they don't want to damage their car. But so we need to work out the geometry of that and still leave that travel lane. There's not a lot of unloading on that street though, is there?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
There is a
there
fair
is, but it's
amount.
not in that particular location.
I thought it was further up towards
It-
Fourth.
It is.
It is.
I think we're good in that location to pull the curb stops back about 4 feet from the bollards.
Yeah.
And that should be more than enough room to get stopped before you hit it.
We do have people who provide maintenance on our building that will park their vehicle there. We have Romans Roofing there today who have a large utility vehicle. So that's something to consider too in the size of parking spaces is that we want to be hospitable to the people that we contract with.
But you're not recommending changing the
It's
parking
not-
pattern?
No.
Oh, okay. I just want to be sure.
So, but the next question I have is, if you're talking 22 of them, is it protecting the church from the top all the way down through the porte cochere?
No, just the
Just the
area,
old part of the church?
just the area where the church is so close to the sidewalk. It's approximately 10 spaces, 10 to
Okay.
11, sort of
So
depends on how
it's-
you count the
It's
space.
from the newly added entrance through the back of the old church.
It's the corner of the building.
Yeah.
All the way down to
Okay,
where you,
I was just
the
trying to-
drive-through.
Mhm.
Understood.
And it's the tire stops that you're talking about the short little yellow thing.
We can use those. We can use concrete. There's a number of
I think you need to do
materials.
Something a little taller than that, because some of these things, it is downhill. Some of these vehicles are pretty heavy.
We can use
The
the
last
concrete ones,
incident was
which are.
caused by a large multi-passenger van. And it also caused inside structural damage, interior damage to the building. So we're dealing with a lot of different sizes back there is what I'm just letting you know for your information.
Well, I mean, I understand that a lot of times you don't like the taller ones because the aerodynamics of cars now make that front spoiler get ripped off, and so I think we have to figure out how we can make it work. And I guess that's what the bollards is for. If the tire stop doesn't stop yet.
If all else
bollards
fails.
will.
Mhm.
So it's 2 per space.
Yes.
So even if you're straddling a white line,
You still can.
can't
the car can't get through.
I want a space where you just can't squeeze through there.
Yeah, understood. Just clarifying.
That would alleviate your problem with the shorter ones.
Correct.
understood.
That's what we're trying to avoid. I mean, plenty of the workers that come through have large trucks. Again, the utility vehicles. We do share a lot of that Church Street parking with Old Edwards Inn. They have multiple vans and large vehicles that could easily drive over a curb stop with enough force. So wanting to prevent that.
So the 16th, so you need
We need a motion.
a motion and a,
to approve.
Can I ask a
We'll have to do
clarifying
a budget
question?
amendment for that, so we'll have to bring that back to the next meeting
okay.
But we want a motion to proceed
with the concept.
with the concept at this point.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we proceed with Lamar's concept
Okay?
to protect the pedestrians and the
Mhm.
structures on Church Street.
Second. Any further discussion? All in favor, please raise your hand, signify by saying aye.
Lamar,
thank you.
Lamar has a question.
Do you want me to proceed with getting the materials?
Yes.
And if so, which
Right,
one do you
yes.
want?
Right.
Do what? Both.
Well, the bollard, but the material on the curb stop, do you?
Well, I think I was convinced that the bollards will take the place of stopping anything with those short curbs, tire stops, whatever they're called. And I understand why people like those is because of the lowness of that front spoiler on a lot of these cars now, so that it doesn't yank those off. Because they just park a lot further away, so they're out in the travel lanes.
Mhm.
So I think with the bollards, that takes care of the concern that the little yellow things aren't good enough to stop the tires.
Little yellow things.
The little yellow.
Yellow
short
thing
yellow
and
things.
the ball.
That's all I need.
May I ask a
thank you.
clarifying question?
I don't.
Huh?
May I ask a clarifying question?
Sure.
Joshua, is it you that are responsible for constructing the plans? Like drafting the design plan, or is that
It will be
Lamar
Lamar.
together?
It'll be Lamar, yes.
Okay, would it be possible for the church to receive a copy of that design plan draft
Sure.
when it's completed?
Sure.
That'd be wonderful. That way we can have, a visual of what to expect.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you. I really appreciate
Okay.
your patience and understanding in this. I think it'll be best for the safety of the citizens.
Okay, good. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Our next item, number 12, is John Neal and Lisa Allen preliminary and final subdivision plat. And Michael Mathis will do the presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So an application was submitted to the Planning Department by John Neal and Lisa Allen concerning a property subdivision at 355 Spring Street. According to a survey by L. Stephen Foster and Associates, the subject property is 10.58 acres. The Town of Highlands zoning map indicates that the parcel is zoned R1 residential and is in the balanced area of the town's water supply watershed 3. According to the Unified Development Ordinance 8.2.1 dimensional standards, the minimum lot size for a property in this zoning and watershed district is 0.75 acres. According to the preliminary and final plat, the applicant proposes to subdivide the parcel into 2 lots. One lot would be 6.06 acres and the other would be 4.52 acres. The town's Public Works Director, Lamar Nix, has reviewed the application and issued a letter of approval. The Planning Board reviewed this proposal in August. Their recommendation is to approve the preliminary and final plat as submitted, and the staff recommendation is to approve the preliminary and final plat as submitted. Miss Allen is here tonight. Her brother, Mr. Neal, is not. If you have any questions for her, but from my understanding, this is simply just the siblings are subdividing their pieces out, so their heirs don't have to.
So this
deal-
is not,
deal
this
with
is
that.
not connected to any kind of impending development project.
No, that is not my understanding.
Okay. Entertain a motion to approve.
I make a motion that we approve the subdivision.
I second that.
All right. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please raise your hand, signify by saying aye. Thank you. Thank you, Michael. All right, item number 13, Playhouse Building demolition. You were given an estimate from a bid from Bryson Construction to demolish the playhouse and remove the material in accordance with all, environmental requirements and so forth. Do I have a motion to accept that bid?
So move.
Second.
Second, any further discussion?
Does that include the budget amendment?
What's that?
Does that include the budget amendment? Right?
Yes,
It is.
and we will have, that is it.
So,
That's
and the budget amendment.
right.
Very
Okay. Thank you, Gibby. And let me just say this, I've been in conversations with people who would like to retain some of the parts of the playhouse for, historical purposes and so forth. I've even talked with, Ryan Bryson, who says he'll be happy to work with people in making that become a reality. So, I think that's a good effort for the community to preserve some vestige of the old playhouse. But we have a motion on the floor. Without any further discussion, all in favor, please raise your hand, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. The motion carries. Okay. That gets to the end of the agenda. The next item would be adjournment. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We're adjourned.